Yo, what up? Welcome back to Xbox Nate gaming channel. I'm Xbox Nate, your boy, your host, your gamer with the most content you're ever going to have on Twitch and on YouTube. So I'm back with another video game movie review, baby. Okay, so is it Sonic the Hedgehog 2? No, haven't gotten to go in and see that yet because I still haven't gotten over my fear of large crowds in dark movie theaters. But I'm gonna go do that. But what I did, I'm gonna work on that in therapy. But what I did see is I watched Resident Evil Welcome to Raccoon City, which was the new Resident Evil movie, and it wasn't directed by that one guy that got to put his wife in it. This was like a new guy, and I don't know if he put his wife in it, but there was people in it, and so as a huge Resident Evil fan, as you guys know, or I had to see this movie. I was just freaking out. So the set designs looked great, and then I know that there was some stuff about the cast, and whatever. It's like, but you got to wait until you see the final movie, and that wait did not pay off. I saw the movie; it was terrible. The casting was horrible. None of the characters were good. Some of them were just outright destroyed. In all seriousness, I have to kind of try to appreciate what they tried to do with Leon, as atrocious as it was, as offensive as it was to that character. Anywhere else, the idea of a rookie cop being so incompetent, but then kind of coming out on top as the hero, would have been brilliant if the writer wasn't terrible, if the writing wasn't atrocious. And look, I can't write a script to save my life. I can't tell a joke to save my life, but whoo boy, I could have written a better movie than this. Jesus. The Anderson movies were better written, and that's hurts to admit. All right? But here's the thing. It's not all bad. It is mostly atrociously bad. What a terrible film. Poor writing, poor acting, poor character portrayals, poor character representations. These were not the characters that you know and love from Resident Evil. The casting was bad. I guess the only one I was okay with was maybe Chris, and it was just okay. It was just like the Anderson movies when he cast some of the OG game characters are just, it's okay. It's like Jill in what was that called? The second one. She was okay. She was better than this Jill. The thing is, like, I didn't hate this Jill and I didn't hate this Leon, but they weren't Resident Evil characters. Like, if they were making some other kind of comedy film that wasn't a Resident Evil movie, or maybe it was like a Resident Evil comedy with different characters, I could see it maybe working. You could be like, oh, okay. But they're not these characters. Claire wasn't that great. I like the, what was her name? Ollie Larder, Claire better. And those movies aren't good. Those movies weren't good. But this movie, was just terrible. I was wrong. I think I made a video defending the cast. I was wrong to do that. Well, I don't think so I don't think these are bad actors. I don't think it was their fault. I think it's just a terrible script, and they did what they could. Donald Lowe, who played Chief Irons, God bless him, he tried. I mean, he was an entertaining character to watch. That's the thing, is that most of these characters were boring. It was painful to see Leon, the guy that played Leon, struggle with trying to do something with what he was given. They butchered Leon, insert the clip from Godfather, right? Where, Don Corleone says, "Look how I massacred my boy." You put that in here, editor. But it's like, like, I get what they were kind of trying to do, and like I said, I have to kind of appreciate that. It's like it was like they tried to take a risk, but there was just terrible writing. No, it couldn't work. You couldn't pull it off. The special effects were terrible. They were god awful. The only thing that I thought looked good was some of the practical effects and like the practical sets. All the CGI stuff was atrocious. Let me get into. I mean, anyone who's seen this movie, who's a Resident Evil fan, knows this. If you look, I'm the kind of guy that's like, there's no right or wrong. You know, we can agree, we can disagree. But when you're in a fandom, we got to support each other. We have to be there for each other, because we all love the same thing fundamentally. And it's like, there's no right or wrong. You know, you got an opinion. I have an opinion. I thought the movie was terrible. If you like the movie, good. I'm fucking glad if you liked this movie, because anyway, that's the bad. It's bad. But there's a light at the end of the tunnel, folks. Your old pal Xbox Nate did like some elements of this film. And let me get into what those are. I liked the production design. I liked the attempt to recreate iconic elements or locations. You know, the police station, the semi truck, the mansion. You know, there was some attempt to be like, hey, this is Raccoon City from the games. This is, remember this? You know, I know that even on the set for like the mansion, they had even some of the same paintings that were in the game, and they put them in the movie in the background. And after that, little touches of, you know, that make gamers do the Leonardo DiCaprio thing, you know, where they, it's like, you know, and that's nice. So production design, I said I liked the practical effects. I liked a lot of the shots in this movie. There's one scene in particular where they're going through the mansion and it's dark and it's just flashlights and like muzzle flashes where they're shooting zombies. It's very claustrophobic and it's very scary. Honestly, this film isn't scary by any means, really, but there's some tension there. So it wasn't like totally incompetent. I mean, it was, but it's like you could see that someone in there had some fucking vision, whether it was the director or other people involved. Someone tried to make a movie, and just it didn't work. And boy. But and another thing I really liked was the introduction of the liquor. The introduction of the liquor in the movie I thought was great. The way they used the lighting and the swinging of the overhead lights and the shadows, you know. And I thought that liquor looked fine. As far as CGI goes, the dogs were terrible. Birkin was terrible. I don't even know what the hell Birkin was supposed to be there in the end. Just looked like shit. I mean, I don't know. The liquor looked fine. I liked the music. I kind of liked the ending shot where it's them walking out and it just cuts to Resident Evil and there's kind of that music playing. I like some of those elements, but overall the movie is just not good. I can't even say it's, in some ways it's better than the Paul Anderson movies. And not Thomas. We're not talking, you know, we're talking about the other one, the WS, right? It's better in, I think, a more creative way, like trying to stick to the aesthetic of the games. But it's just still so, I just can't, video game movies are so terrible, man. I mean, you know, this review might just evolve into a rant on video game movies, but fuck it, here we go. You know, it's just like the Tomb Raider movie. Just all video game movies are terrible. Even ones that are okay are still bad. Let's admit it. Let's face it. Let's admit it. Come on, guys. Even if you thought Silent Hill was okay or was one of the better video game adaptations, it was still a terrible movie. Are there things to like about it? Yes. Pyramid Head ripping someone's skin off and throwing it into the closing doors of the church and spraying everybody with blood is cool. But overall, the movies are terrible. You know, it's like, it just makes you wonder. It's like, where's the problem? You know, it's like you can finger all these different things, you know, on the script, the casting and whatever, but it's just like somewhere down the line, it's just these movies don't feel like someone trying to make, I don't know, a video game movie or the movie that I will give, as bad as this movie is, this Resident Evil Welcome to Raccoon City, I will absolutely give it props that at least it felt like it was somewhere, someone was trying to make a Resident Evil movie that felt like Resident Evil. Right? That's my opinion. Bad movie. Somewhere amongst all this shit, someone was trying. And it just wasn't enough. That's the impression I get about this movie. Because there are moments where I'm like, and oh, and then most of the time I'm just like, ugh. You know, and even with Leon, they took a risk. They did something risky while trying to make him this bumbling, incompetent character. And it was a big risk, and it was like, this could have really worked. You could have made him super lovable, but the writing was just terrible. And it didn't work. You know? And you're already risking, you're going to piss off Leon fans who are like, what is this abomination? You know, and no one was really that interesting. None of the characterizations were particularly accurate or interesting. The only one, like I said, that was okay was probably Chris. I mean, you can argue that Claire was okay. I didn't really particularly like Claire. I just thought she was like, you know that like forced bad girl, like badass female character trope thing where it's like they got, you know, no time for nonsense and they're all angry all the time and, you know, they got something to prove or whatever. As a trope where it's like there's no real character, they're just angry. That it's like something Frank Miller would write or something, you know, it's just like obnoxious. But it's just like, it's not a character, you know. Claire has more depth to her. And I'm not even saying the games are works of fucking literary art. They're not works of literary genius, but my God. My fucking God, you know? There's at least these characters have levels and depths and emote in more than just one way. You know? And the story was lazy. The whole thing about it all being connected were why do they got to do that shit? You know what I mean? Like, the world's a big place. Sometimes people are just there. And they can have backstories. Claire and Chris. Oh my God, my brain. Claire and Chris are orphans. Boom, there you go. Backstory. That's all you need. That's enough context to build on with the relationship, with how they grew up, etc. You don't need to have them be a conspiracy. That was just terrible. They made these choices. Anyway, I don't know. This is going on way too long. I'm going to end it. But yeah, the movie's not good. I do think it's worth watching as a Resident Evil fan. However, just to kind of try to appreciate what they tried to do in some areas. But overall, no. Just video game movies. Stop it. No more. You know, just make games. Make more games, I guess. I don't know.